Hello YouTube and fellow DC Comic fans, I'm Keith One Shot, and this is my dramatic reading series, and today we will be covering Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps, Bats Out of Hell Part 3 from DC Comics. We start this story off with Hal Jordan narrating, 52 universes in the multiverse. I couldn't tell you the number of planets, how many citizens, trillions, what's more than trillions, but there's only one Coast City, my city. We then go to Space Sector 2814, Coast City, Earth, briefly in the past, where we see the Green Lanterns, Kyle Rayner, John Stewart, and Guy Gardner. Kyle then says, "When you're finished here, John, I want to run my plans for the museum and sculpture garden by you. The new Coast City can't be a destination without a good art scene." Then Guy Gardner says, "Before he does that, Johnny is gonna build me a Warriors. I spy the perfect place for a beachfront bar. Keep painting your pretty pictures, Rayner. I'll be counting dollars." Then John tells them both, "I'll add it to my list of requests, Guy, along with the modernized airfield Hal has in mind." Then Guy says, "Where is Jordan anyway? Shirking work as usual." Then Kyle says, "Where else? Patrolling the sky." We then see Hal Jordan flying through the sky with two kids inside of a green energy construct roller coaster as the two kids shout in joy, "Higher, Uncle Hal! Higher! No! Faster!" Then Hal says, "Your mom and dad probably already want to kill me, kiddos. Besides, we're here." Then the kids respond, "Here? Where?" Then Hal says, "My favorite place. Can you read what this sign says?" Then the kids say, Coast City, the city without fear." Then Hal tells the kids all the scary things that happen here. Coast City chose not to be afraid. It's easy to think that superheroes inspire people, but as a superhero, believe me when I say, the people of Coast City inspire me. And since you two live here, that means you inspire me too. You never have to be afraid, because I'll always protect this place. No fear." Then the kids say, "No fear! No fear!" Then we hear Hal Jordan narrate, "Coast City, best city in the world. Today, it's in a world of trouble." We then see Coast City on the present day, with the symbol of the Dawnbreaker shining brightly in the sky. We then go deep underground to the Nightmare Batcave of the Dawnbreaker, where we see the Dawnbreaker smash Hal Jordan in the face as he says, "Welcome home, Hal." Then the Dawnbreaker sneaks back into the shadows, and Hal says, "The dark won't save you, Dawnbreaker." Then, as Hal sits alone in the dark, he starts hearing the voices of several of his enemies telling him, "I've waited so long to be alone with you, Hal. Fear always finds its place. Your crimson will mingle in the blood lake of Yasmalt. I trained you better than this, Jordan. Mine!" Then Hal laughs, "Ha!" And the Dawnbreaker says, "Something amuses you?" Then he punches Hal in the face. Then Hal says, "You little Bruce, if that's what you call yourself, in whatever sewer of a universe you come from, you are funny." Then Dawnbreaker cracks Hal in the back as he says, "How so?" Then Hal replies, "You think I fear you. You bring me here. You show me Coast City attacked. Play a few spooky voices. And you think that will scare me? Our Batman is smarter. All you've done is fire me up. So stop with the peekaboo, and let's get down to business." Then Hal shines his ring's light, but instead, the darkness starts to absorb the light. Then the Dawnbreaker says from the shadows, "Your Batman is lost. He thought he understood Shadow. I am Shadow. I'm darkness, the black hole that follows the Nova. I'm the Dawnbreaker." Then Hal says, "Your ring can absorb light. Is that it? I'll give you credit. That's new, but you can't absorb what keeps disappearing. Ring, strobe." Then Hal's ring replies, "Strobe, activated." Then the ring begins flashing on and off, allowing Hal a better chance to fight in the dark. Then Hal says, "All right, Dawnbreaker, let's dance." Then the Dawnbreaker swings at Hal, and Hal says, "Missed." Then Dawnbreaker says, "Guy, Kyle, John, even the Guardians." Then Hal replies, "You're getting distracted." The light flashes on again, and we see Hal building an energy construct. Then the Dawnbreaker tries to attack Hal as he shouts, "They weren't enough to stop me from avenging my parents' murder." Then Hal says, "Missed again." Then, as the light flashes back on, the Dawnbreaker flies at Hal in a rage as he shouts, "What makes you think you are?" Then, in the darkness, Hal says, "Because, Bruce, you never could fly with me." Then, as the light flashes back on, we see Hal inside of a giant green energy construct machine that smashes the Dawnbreaker. As Hal is cracking down the Dawnbreaker, we see Atrocitus dead, chained to the giant penny in the Dawnbreaker's cave, a dead Sinestro, and a dead Hector Hammond. Then, as Hal continues smashing the Dawnbreaker, Hal shouts, "This is for Guy! And Kyle! and John! Then, as the Dawnbreaker flees into the shadows, Hal shouts, "Hiding again! You stepped up to the plate with your emo crap! I came to rock, and my show isn't over! The lights are still on!" The Dawnbreaker says, "Then, by all means, Hal, play!" Then he attacks Hal. Hal then says, "Ring and strobe." The ring replies, "Strobe discontinued." Then Hal shouts, "Here's a lesson, Dawnbreaker. My ring. Nobody gave it to me. It didn't find me. I made it. Forged it from my own willpower. I don't wear it. I am it." Together, we detonated Warworld. We came back from the afterlife. We rescued gods. And now, we're gonna burn you out. Then Hal sees a construct of Parallax saying, "Fear always finds its place." Hector Hammond saying, "I've waited so long to be alone with you, Hal." Larfleeze saying, "Mine!" Sinestro saying, "I trained you better than this, Jordan." And Atrocitus saying, "Your crimson will mingle in the blood lake of Yasbolt." Then Hal grits his teeth. Then he says, "Who's first?" Then we hear Hal Jordan narrate, "No fear doesn't mean you never feel afraid. It means you fight through the fear, no matter how desperate things are, no matter how dark the times, in brightest day, in blackest night. That's what being a Green Lantern is all about. It's the oath I swore to uphold. Every time I say that oath, it fills me with strength and resolve. And every time I say it, I know it could be my last." We then see a defeated Metropolis, a destroyed Washington, D.C., a conquered Central City, an Amnesty Bay, swallowed by the sea, and Detroit left decimated. We then go to Challenger's Mountain, a mist to Gotham City in its death throes, where we see Hal Jordan, knocked out, and being dragged by the Dawnbreaker. As he's dragging Hal behind him, the Dawnbreaker says, "It's like I told the Green Lantern Corps, Hal. The dark always wins. But don't worry, you won't be alone. My new teammates have defeated your wannabe family as well." We then see the Dark Knights dragging Hal Jordan, Aquaman, Flash, and Wonder Woman towards the Anti-Monitor's machine, where we see Deathstroke, Steel, Captain Boomerang, Deadshot, Poison Ivy, Aqualad, and Beast Boy, all tied up to the Anti-Monitor's machine by dark energy. We then go to an area where the Murder Machine and the Batman Who Laughs are torturing Cyborg. Then the Batman Who Laughs says, "What I love about the Justice League of this world is their arrogance. They believe they are the basis for the whole multiverse, and that we'd only come for their world, but we're just getting started." Then the Murder Machine says, "Cyborg resists, but soon, the dark energy will be too much for his programming to handle. He'll be lost in the nightmares of the dark multiverse, and his mother box will be defenseless." Then the Batman Who Laughs says, "All this time, the most powerful metal in all of creation has been rusting inside his chest, and he never understood the raw power at his fingertips. Thankfully, we can take it off his hands. Once we extract the Element X from Cyborg, the entire multiverse will be ours to destroy." And that ends today's story. Comic published by DC Comics. All rights, story art, and characters belong to DC Comics and their respective owners. Not me. This has been Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps, Bats Out of Hell Part 3. And I'm your host, Keith One Shot. If you like this video, make sure to check out the rest of my Comic Complete dramatic reading series and support DC Comics by picking up a copy of the trades and single issue comics. Support your local comic book shop. Take care and have a great day. Goodbye.